Approximately 6 days before we see another Manchester United defeat. Thing is, I don't like this Mount story. I have a soft spot for Mason Mount. He was a star boy, just as Saka is Arsenal's star boy. And how his story is unraveling is the same way how Jesse Lingard's story went and how Dele Alli story went. And I think Mason Mount, okay, of those three players, I think Dele Alli was the most talented, but Mason Mount was all round. Like he had energy, he could dribble, he could score, he had shots, he had a lot of these things. The thing is, I think when you're in a team that is not doing well and a lot of people are depending on you, you have to show leadership. If you don't show leadership, you'll be the first person that all those like the fans will turn against you. I saw it when was it Shaka, the other Saka, the other Shaka. How do you spell it? I should be doing like some spelling coach, spelling training for some of the names. For Arsenal, the entire fan base turned against him and he reacted. In that year, he did not react well. Okay, in subsequent year, he reacted well, which made a lot of fans come around. For Mount, I think he should have pulled down, but when things started going south, he thought that probably there's no any way that Chelsea will come back in the near future. And now the decision he had to make was to get out of it. He was like, okay, I've given you all, I've become player of the season twice in those 2 years. Why are you turning against me? I should also show you that I'm needed elsewhere, that other fan base, other clubs just want me. I think that's what he thought. But the thing is, at Chelsea, a lot of people, as much as he was getting some hate, which I think everybody in that squad was getting some hate, but a lot of people are defending Mount because he's not a bad player. It's just is technically is average. He puts in work like the likes of Gallagher. The England boys, they always work so hard. And he has all these other small things like free kicks, like the technicalities, other technicalities parts of the game, which I think would have made him, if he had a fan base that supported him, that were telling the coach like, we need this guy to play, he would have gotten the chance to show that he's a better player. But what he did, he decided to run away. Like that was just running away. The way the transfer happened, when people are saying like, okay, we are discussing a new contract, we are trying to beseech him to remain with the team, but he decided, no, I've made up my mind already, I'm going to United. At United, he doesn't have like those day one fans, like the people who thought like, okay, this Cobham graduate, we need to defend him, we need to make sure that Cobham boys play. At Man United is just another player. Nobody is missing him. Like it will be purely on performance, and United is not doing well compared to Chelsea. I think in his thoughts, like the way he was thinking, he thought that United was more stable than Chelsea, and if he goes there and he gets probably position 8, he will start balling. He did not know that Casemiro was there to play the CDM as much as he's not playing now. Then we had Bruno, who was always going to play in 10. So there was only one a free midfield spot, and he had to compete with all the other midfielders. And given that they signed Amrabat, as much as it was late, they had the Eriksen and all those other midfielders in that team. It was not going to be easy, the same way it was not going to be easy now. But if he was in Chelsea, it wouldn't be easy. But given that Gallagher has gotten a chance, Mount was at a higher hierarchy to be chosen compared to Gallagher. And given that Gallagher has gotten a chance, there's a highly likelihood that if Mount was given a chance and he started performing, he will also be part of the first 11. But who am I to say? I think his story is just unraveling the way Jesse Lingard happened. Jesse Lingard was in Manchester for so many years. For I don't know. Let me check how many years. From 2011, I think. Yes, from 2011 to 2021, those are 9 years. And as much as at some point, especially when Mourinho was the coach, he got some play, he impressed a little bit. His head, we usually say, his head grew. When we say your head has grown, it means like you you are now guided by ego. When you start performing and then somebody says go to bench, if you say like, oh no, I'm not going to bench, you usually say your head has grown, like you're now a big man. You look at yourself and you think, I can make. So he went to West Ham, performed well. Man United decided you are coming back to play. When he came to United, he found that it was not him, it was the team. Then he has gone to Nottingham Forest. I think so. I think he's a free agent or he has gone to Nottingham Forest now. I don't know if he's playing. The same way Dele Alli. You see, we have some England boys who grow up, like come up from bigger teams, and they have a certain kind of fan base that usually helps them, which is not wrong to hype a player. It gives them confidence. But sometimes when the competition is very big and a lot of people are really depending on you, you need to show yourself. You just don't go. You need to keep on improving. You just can't stay the same. If, like, how do you say it? Your game has to mature up. Like, you don't have to run so much, you don't have to do a lot of things. But I used to like how, like, as much as people say, the likes of Gerrard, compared to other midfielders like Pirlo, like who, they were not like really, really gifted in that sense. Like, they were not like really good at dribbling, but they knew how to do the basic stuff in the most effective and, like, they were, you could say they were efficient or effective. Like, Pillow are amazing how they handled the ball, how they did their first touch, how they dribbled, how they were, like, you find people like Busquets, like you can't pressure them. They were just so cool on the ball. Then you had people like Lampard. You couldn't say that, okay, I'm going to watch Lampard's first touch. It was nothing that he will take to TikTok and say, hey, look this first touch, look this dribbling. No, but you'll know that he'll score, He'll give those right, effective long passes, the efficient one. He will give those through passes. He will do that, the bare minimum, the basic. We say the basic, but in the most effective way. I think that is what I expected people like Mount, even Lingard to transform to, but they just remained like they were going through that phase, that 26, 27, which you say like that's the prime years for a player. In those years you have to mature up your game. The same way Rashford is not doing, like you expect like Rashford should be. Right now is going into his prime, but he's still playing like that 23, 22-year-old Rashford, which it's quite disturbing. We need people to, what do you call it? I don't know if it's the mentality or just people trying to tell him like you have to mature, you have to take to take responsibility to say like if this team is not performing in this way, I'll be the one to break the deadlock, I'll be the one to score, I'll be the one to offer leadership to everybody here. You shouldn't be the one like, okay, I'm just on this other side, I'll wait for everybody else to give me instructions. Like you expect now Rashford to be the captain material, like to act like a captain because he has been in United for so long from his first contract to now. Like I think he has been United, if you compare to the rest of the team, he's been the longest at United probably. But when he's on the pitch, you'll find like people like Bruno are offering more leadership. Even Maguire is offering more leadership as much as he's making a lot of mistakes, but he's there. Even Onana is offering more leadership than the guy. And I think just that, like, they're lacking or they're slacking. Their game hasn't matured. And I think that was the problem with Mount. As much as he was making those quick decisions, he wanted to just go through there and I don't know, like just find the appropriate team, but they are not appropriate teams. Every team is built. So you have to be the brick. You have to be the brick that builds the team. You don't have to be the, what do you call it? You be the person that goes into a, should you call it a paint or what? You want to find a house that has already been built. Say I was part of this thing. It doesn't work like that. And another story like Everton, they admitted, I think there was ongoing, we call it, I don't know how you call it, but there was ongoing profit and revenue something. And Everton, in the period that they were checking, had a loss of 124 million euros. PSR usually allows for a club to make only 105 million loss. So if you go beyond that, they usually think, oh, it's not a thing, it's not a thought, it's like a calculation. Usually say that if you're making 105 million euros in losses, you are not sustainable and you should not be part, like you have to sell your assets, you are going into the bankrupt zone. But a lot of teams have been going past that, because if you are surviving by making all these losses, it means first you are not competing fairly, because it means that you are pumping a lot of money that you can't afford into the club. And second is that probably you could be using the club as a conduit for money laundering, as a conduit for those underhand betting, or yeah, the likes. So you can't make losses and keep going. So Everton admitted to it, and they were fined points. Like now, they have to 10 points. They have to cut their points by 10. That means that they are not doing well. So they'll be at the relegation zone. And this just goes to say how, because if we check Man City and even Chelsea to some extent, they have been Man City not exactly recently, but between 2015 to up to 2020, they spent so much that they were not making. Like, Man City is not a very big commercial club that you could say that they were making that same amount of money to not make a loss and still spend on those players. The only way they could circumnavigate through that is either through, I don't know, like there are some clauses in accounting, the same that Boyle is using, like you depreciate players' prices over a large period of time, or other things. I don't know how they have avoided this. Even Chelsea, as much as they are under investigation, they have found a way. But I know at some point they made these losses. I just think that the PSR or the FP, what do you call it? The fair play what? They are really afraid of pushing clubs like Chelsea or Man City either away from Champions League or to relegation, because if you face it, if you remove Chelsea and Man City from Premier League, as much as you'll have these other teams, it will be a boring league. Like, you'll just be having, probably right now you'll have Arsenal and Liverpool fighting for the Premier League, but it will be a boring league, and even the Champions League. So they just have to let the two teams, Man City and Chelsea, to remain, even if they go past, if they make losses above the set threshold. Yeah, actually, there are so many stories that I could talk about. I think international games usually allow, they just let it, how do you say it, there's no any, like a lot of things that are newsworthy usually happens around the international break, because a lot of people are making interviews, a lot of players are just like, you have to create stories to keep people busy within those 14 days, and which is so good, especially for this thing, because this thing is not action oriented, like talking, giving out news, doing it is not like, oh, it's not like vlogging per se, like you have to find a thing to talk to. Like this thing is easy. not easy per se, but you could tell it's so good to do it when there's no rush, and especially now when there are no a lot of people watching us, because you can just say anything. If you have a lot of people watching you, you have to really take care of what you say, because whatever you say usually has consequences. If you talk about a player, you'll have people commenting, telling you, why are you doing this, or this and this and this. Like, hey, stop talking about this player. Why are you talking about this player? No. He just said I have what? He just said I am what? Oh, it's racist. I think this is the right time to just talk. You could talk anything. Like, how many people are seeing us? Probably, do they even go past 100? No. So you can just be you. You can just be free. You can just like give out your opinions. Like talk about anything, everything that people don't want to talk about. Give out review. It's like commenting on X. Like, people don't even know you. They don't come for you. Like, uh, where will you go find somebody called Obi something on X and is saying like, this government has stolen us, and now you want to look for that guy? No, it doesn't happen. And I think we are in that period. So this period should be the right point to just give reviews on anything, any topic, any player. Could say it's time to say like Messi is the GOAT with no consequence and other things. And in another interview, like, who is it? Mikel had an interview with Ferdinand, I think 3 days ago, and he was talking about black tax. For people that don't know black tax, how I like to explain this thing. Like, I just found out that I like talking a lot, just not around people. Say, with camera I can. So I'm explaining black tax. Black tax is when, okay, let me just, how economy, like the difference. My viewers are mostly, okay. I've been given like I think 25% of my viewers where they're coming from, and the majority comes from UK. The second majority comes from US, then Kenya, then I think Norway, then Nigeria, and then India, South Africa, and then the rest. For those people who don't know black tax, African communities, I don't know how African communities are usually made such that there's a man who's a breadwinner. The breadwinner takes care of his children. If he's wealthy enough, he takes care of the extended family, pays for them fees, he buys for them clothes, sometimes land. Such has always been the setting, especially in the past. Like, men are to take responsibility for their family, for the extended family, and sometimes for their parents. And it has grown, and people in the past, in 60s, in 70s, even in 80s, people were so clear, like that was the role. Like, it wasn't something that people used to bargain. It wasn't something that people felt bad. It was like men, like the idea of men is to provide for their parents, is to provide for their kids, is to provide for their spouses, and at times the extended family. However, from 1990s. Like the economies were, just talking about Kenya, the economy was not so good, and especially you could only find, you know, now the disparity in income started growing. And when people want more, people do not just want food and clothes and what do you say, like the basic needs. People want more, like they want good cars, they want better houses, they want several lands. Like we have grown into an economy of insatiable, like you can't be satisfied. And now the money that you could send your extended family, or you could send your parents, or you could send, if at times you are, if you start making a lot of money, that money you'll find as a use. It's not like in the past when if you buy a car and you buy a house, there's so little that you can do, probably just investing. Now if you buy a house, you have to buy another house, you have to buy another car. Now it's very difficult to just give out money. And the same way, those people that probably will be satisfied with only food, like if they were not working, and they will say like, okay, if you give us food, we are okay. Now they just don't want food. They want food, they want clothes, they want a lot of things. Now we are set up, like our economy is set up in such a way that we have those who are struggling to get and are getting money, and those who are unemployed basically, or if they are employed, they are earning so little that to sustain them is so hard. Now, black tax is when everybody who is unemployed or is not earning enough expect you, as a member of the family who is earning a lot or earning better than them, to look out for them, like to, if they are sleeping, they shouldn't sleep hungry. They shouldn't they do not, they they really have, how do you say it, they can't lack fees, they can't lack clothes, they can't lack all these necessities if you are there. And the more you earn, the more they want. If you buy two cars, now they'll say, oh, we need a bicycle. And it's just, it has just become like so tiring for some people, because right now everybody is becoming a little self-centered. Like a lot of people are just looking out for themselves, because we really have a lot to work for. Like you have to get the 64-inch TV, you have to get, I don't know, the biggest camera, you have to get the biggest car, you buy a Range Rover, you have to buy a sports car, you have to buy another. Like you just can't be giving out money the way the society is made. And those people, they just can't believe that you are becoming so rich, yet they can't afford the basics. So that is what is black tax. Like people becoming entitled, or people expecting that whatever you earn, you have to send them a little. So Obi Mikel was saying that especially for them as footballers, like a lot of footballers like earn so much, like whatever they earn is, you could say, in excess. Like sometimes they just spend money, they have too much money that probably most of them are not even putting into good use, that they're not investing. Now you go to a training and you see the cars they drive, you see where they live, you see whatever they wear. It just scream opulence. So a lot of those who are complaining that they should be left, but other people are saying like, as a footballer, a lot of footballers have earned such money. For example, people like Mane, and they have done a lot for the community. They have become philanthropists. And the people were complaining of black tax, like they have not even given what some of these guys gave, like Mane's building school. I know Salah is doing whatever is doing. Some people are building academies. Wanyama is building an academy. Some people like Rashford have started, although Rashford is not from Africa. But so they were saying like somebody like Obi should not be talking about black tax when whatever money he earned he hasn't put into, what do you call it? Like somebody cannot trace it back. Sometimes we call it the footprint. Like there's no any money footprint of Obi Mikel. But some people are saying like uh, Obi Mikel has supported his family, and it's not just about Obi Mikel, it's about other people. Like it's about people like there are a lot of people who complained. I think Ebuye is one of them. Ebuye and the likes. Like we need to stop black tax, but we can't stop black tax if only a small population of people is employed. Like the only way to stop black tax is by making a lot of people employed, or we turn into a like the American system when people knows like it's just me, nobody's coming to take care of you. So if you mess up, if you mess up your security, you have call it pensions. If you mess up your pensions, if you mess up your IRA, if you mess up your like nobody's going to take care of you. So you have to take care of you and take care of your future. But even that just brings like some kind of solitude, loneliness. And now you have to use antidepressants and the stuff, which is, but sometimes whatever you choose, there are advantages and disadvantages. So, yeah, okay, let's meet another time.